24 hours. It's been 24 hours without any electricity. And I'm going to tell you the story of what happens when you have 24 hours. First of all, you don't know in most countries that you're going to have 24 hours without electricity. Some countries do. They call it brownouts or shading or different names, or they have different names for it, where they actually tell you that they're going to decrease the electricity, or there's an overuse of electricity, so they're going to block off an area for a while. India does this. But normally you're pretty much going, okay, it'll go off for a couple hours and it'll come back on. And that's the funny part, because you're always expecting it to come back on, and you're always waiting and you're kind of hopeful. But on the other side is there comes a point where it's does it like, but what happens slowly is you have batteries. Okay, so I have batteries, and I have four of these batteries, which are 5,000 ohm batteries. You can't really take anything bigger through an airport, or they confiscate them. I had a couple really good ones. I don't know, 15,000 watt ones taken. But really, these are the perfect size because you can put them in your back pocket. Okay, very few people here have these battery bank backups. Um, there's actually no really backup. The only actual backup they have is they do have generators. Okay, my particular hotel, the electricity's been in Togo pretty good for maybe 5 or 10 years, and I mean, 10 years ago I was here and there was really almost electricity out like 90% of the time. Everybody bought a generator. But what happens is when it goes out, you're always thinking it's going to come back on. So that's kind of the anticipation without the benefit, right? But the biggest problem with the electricity going out is there's two major problems when the electricity goes out. Is that there's no entertainment. Anybody that's using the internet for entertainment stops after a certain point, and the fans and the air conditioning. Air conditioning in a country where the electricity goes off all the time is a major problem. Okay, I mean, can you imagine being in a five-star building with the electricity off? It just absorbs the heat, and you're just in a coffin. But I normally pride myself in choosing the best rooms in a hotel for heat. And I've thought about it for years, and that's one reason I designed that one tiny home that was with a double roof and stuff for heat. It was a tropical home. I designed a tropical home specifically made to uh, realize the thermal mass, the coldness of the ground. See, what you want to do when you're in a hotel is you want to get on the first floor with the concrete mass, a big concrete building in a way, and you never want to be on the top floor because that, with the concrete roof, because that roof heats up and it just cooks the room. I'm in a room which has um, see, there's a dead air space. There's an attic in this place, and that creates a barrier between the roof and the thing. And it's not. It's like it's not an asphalt roof, but it's see what is probably a steel roof. Okay, but it breathes. Okay, and that's the better type of roof. So my room is actually not as hot as people that are living in a place with a concrete roof. Okay, but you're sitting there, and you lay down in your bed, and you're after about 2 hours on my computer battery. I have no entertainment on watching movies. I have four of these, so I could actually watch movies uh, all night long on YouTube if I wanted to. Now I didn't do that. I just actually fell asleep, and I qua Okay, so I specifically, the target I look at, the two ways solutions to heat is choosing the right room in the first place. Second, so you want to get a room on the first floor where the basic ground temperature is being raised up to your room. And you always want to have one floor, two floor, three floors. So if you're on if you was on the first floor and there was actually no sun hitting the walls of your room, could be very cool. Uh, in Niger, Africa, they actually sleep outside. In India, they often sleep outside or they sleep on the roof. I was in many Arabic countries where everybody just at night goes up and sleeps on the roof. Very common thing. Um, but any kind of wall between you and the environment slows down the cooling of the room. Most of the houses here have steel roofs, meaning they're just greenhouses. And they're the worst designed rooms possible for heat. On the other side is a steel roof does cool off very quickly, but it heats up very fast, meaning that the inside of the room during the day is very hot. So what do? You go in your room, you're laying in bed, of course you take off all your clothes. Then you can take showers if you want, because we still have showers. Okay, strangely, we still have showers even though there's no electricity. And strangely, even though there's no electricity in the government giving electricity, all the internet still works because each internet tower here has their own generator, and so they're continuous. They never stop. But you basically get naked, you lay in the bed, and you expose as much skin as you can to the air, and then open up the windows and try to get some flow, right? Now, if they design these houses, in a way, what the best way to have a wall would be a complete screened wall that had a way to close it off, and so that it became a double wall. And very few, I've never seen any houses that are built to be passively cooled that are correct. There are some houses in Australia that are, optimized for cooling. But for the most part, the tropics builds them for optimization for being cheap, okay? To build cheap, and they don't really care. I showed you the other day, there's one of my 1 minute videos, I showed my friend Aji Joe's room, which is $10 a month, and he lives in this, and he has no fan, okay? And on the other side is the electricity could cost you more than the rent of the room per month. Okay, now, again, you got to be real careful with air conditioning because air conditioning goes on and off, and there's rooms that are 100% dependent on electricity for air conditioning, and then they're closed off, the doors are shut, they're hot rooms, because they often put the air conditioning on the hottest room to make it valuable. And so when the electricity goes off on an air-conditioned room, it often is the hottest room in the hotel. Okay, but again, I'll never forget, I was in Lake Atitlan, and this guy was really proud of his room, and he was up on the third floor, and it was getting all the tropical heat. He had all these fans going at night, he had his door open, and he didn't realize that if he would have just went down 2 floors, he would have been cool, he wouldn't have needed a fan, and everything would have been good. But because the roof heated up, he was cooking. But he didn't ever adapt. He lived there for about 2 years with this crazy room because certain roofs make your room very hot. Again, I'm in a place with probably kind of a steel roof with an attic, dead air space, and this cools off the room. So if you study your rooms, you can learn this. But what happens is you lay there, and now because I've been here already for about 3 weeks, my body's acclimated. That means that all the water, excess water, has already sweated out of my body. And if you want to come into a country, you should do like that. It's very good to actually go and sweat real hard for 2 or 3 days until your body becomes accustomed to the heat. So my body, last night, I was quite comfortable. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and really had kind of bored I turned on my smartphone, and it's got a little thing on the back where I can sit it up on the I sit it up on a chair next to my bed, and I watched some videos, uh, hooked to the battery, right? And but I didn't. I already had my 8 hours of sleep. I went to bed about 8 o'clock, and I woke up about 4 o'clock. So I got a great night's sleep. Although I wouldn't have got that 2 weeks earlier when I wasn't quite acclimated to the heat. This is one problem with air conditioning. People that are dependent on air conditioning never really have their body acclimated to the temperature. But I woke up at 4, bored out of my brain. I don't really like to watch too many YouTube videos because they're too negative. But I watched a few, and then about 6:30 the sun came up. I know what time the sun comes up. I always know what time the sun is going to rise and set, so that I can adjust my world around it. So I woke up. I took a shower. I did some exercises in the dark. I'm up to 12 push-ups. I'm real proud of myself. I went from about 3 up to 12, and I'm going to work my way up to about 50, I hope. And then I did 100 stretches on my back, and I did 100 stretches, and then I took a shower. Now the bad part is this particular hotel has some problem with the water, so I can't really see it because I've only got sunlight coming in through the windows, and sometimes the water comes out of the faucet kind of dirty. Okay, so I was sitting there hoping at the water. I was trying to check the water to make sure it was clean. I took a really fast shower, then went and ate breakfast. But you're always, again, one of the biggest problems of the electricity going off is you're in constant anticipation that it's going to come back on. That's kind of better when the more organized countries have these brownouts where they actually tell you when it's going to go off and tell you when it's going to come on. And they allocate the electricity to the country, say they don't have enough electricity. On the more beneficial side is it's nice when they have a generator. The bad part about a generator is it makes noise all night long. Okay, so there's all these traumas that you have with things. But 100 it's 100 degrees here during the day, and it's about all day long, roughly 90 to 100 degrees, 103 I think it gets up to, and that's pretty hot. Okay, and it's pretty good walking around in the sunlight. I'm not really, because I have no insulation between me and the room. It's always that wall between you and the world that causes the heat to build up. So living inside a room is bad. If I had a house here, I would build like a large screen porch area, and then I would make that into my bedroom. And I would have it completely capable of course, I'd have to have bars on it, but I would have it so that it was a barred-in screen porch that I slept in every night, because the transfer of heat between the outside air and the thing would be faster. Now, none of this happens in Africa or Guatemala or any place I'm normally at. They really, Thailand or Philippines, I've never seen anybody build a house that was made for comfort against the heat. They always make them for comfort. Not They make the cheapest house possible. Okay. Okay, I'm here and you're not. Why not? We still have no electricity, and I'm still sitting around thinking, oh, it's just going to be a little bit before it turns on again. And that right there is the killer of the electricity going off, is the constant anticipation of something to happen. Now, on the other side is, I will tell you that most travelers don't have these battery backups, and they are very angry, and they spend their whole night, they spend their whole day whinging. Expats can live in a country for 10 years and complain all day long about the electricity going on. I'm often amazed at how few people ever learn from the problem, okay? And they're just angry because there's no, like Lake Atitlan, it never gets that hot, so it's really kind of a nice, beautiful climate. But they don't know what to do without their YouTube. That's the addiction problem. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not?